I met her family, and her other boyfriend. We'd been dating for a little over a year. Her name was Claire. She invited me to spend the weekend with her family in a small town a few hours away. "They've been dying to meet you," she said. I thought it was a big step forward. We drove up Friday evening, and everything seemed perfect. Her parents welcomed me warmly, we had dinner together, and the night ended with wine by the fireplace. The next morning, Claire said she needed to run a quick errand in town. "Just picking up some things for dinner," she told me. I offered to come, but she insisted I stay and bond with her dad. An hour passed. Then 2. Her dad suggested we go for a walk into town. I figured maybe we'd bump into her. We did. From across the street, I saw her standing outside a cafe. She wasn't alone. She was with a man tall, wearing a leather jacket, and they were laughing, holding hands like it was the most natural thing in the world. Her father froze beside me. "Is that Claire?" he asked, his voice heavy. I didn't answer. We crossed the street. She saw us too late. Her smile dropped, and she let go of the man's hand instantly. "Oh. This is," she started, but her dad cut her off. "Claire, who is this?" She stammered, her face pale. The man looked like he wanted to disappear. I just said, "Guess I'm not the only one meeting the family this weekend." I turned to her dad, shook his hand, and said, "Thank you for your hospitality. I'll head back now." I walked to the bus station, bought a one-way ticket home, and didn't answer a single one of her calls that followed. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the truth doesn't just hit you, it hits everyone around you, and there's no taking it back. Her late night at work wasn't about work. We'd been living together for almost 2 years. Her name was Megan. She worked at a design firm and sometimes stayed late to finish projects. I trusted her, at least, I thought I did. One Friday, she told me she had to work a night shift because a big deadline was coming up. She left around 7 p.m., laptop bag over her shoulder, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Don't wait up." Around 10 p.m., I realized I'd left my phone charger in her car. I figured I'd swing by her office, grab it, maybe surprise her with coffee. When I got there, the parking lot was nearly empty. I spotted her car parked in the corner, but the office lights were off. Confused, I called her. She answered quickly, sounding a bit breathless. "Hey, I'm in the middle of something at work. Can I call you back?" I didn't answer. I just said, "Yeah, sure." Then I sat in my car and waited. About 15 minutes later, I saw her walking out of a nearby diner, not the office, with a man I'd never seen before. They were laughing, close, like they'd done this 100 times. He opened her car door for her, and she smiled in a way she hadn't for me in months. I pulled out of the parking lot and parked right in front of them before they could drive away. She froze when she saw me. "Working hard tonight?" I asked, my voice steady. Her face went pale. "It's not." "Save it," I said. "You left your honesty back at the office, if you were ever there." I tossed her the phone charger I'd meant to retrieve and drove off. She texted later, saying it was just a late dinner with a friend. But in my book, real friends don't hide behind lies and empty offices. Here's what I learned. If they're working late, make sure it's on the relationship, not on someone else. I wasn't supposed to be on that business trip. We'd been dating for nearly 4 years. Her name was Lauren. She often traveled for work, usually for just a few days at a time. This time, she said she had to go to a conference 2 states away. Strictly business, she told me, long days, boring meetings. A day before she left, my own boss asked if I could attend the same conference to help close a deal with a client. My mind started racing. I didn't tell Lauren I'd be there. I wanted to see for myself what her strictly business looked like. The first night, after the last conference session, there was a networking mixer in the hotel's rooftop lounge. I spotted her across the room, not with her coworkers, not with her laptop open. She was at a small table, sharing a bottle of wine with a man in a tailored suit. They weren't just talking business. She was laughing, touching his arm, leaning in closer than necessary. I decided to wait. I took a seat at the bar where I could see them. After about 30 minutes, they stood up and headed toward the elevator. I followed at a distance. The elevator stopped at her floor. I watched them walk down the hallway together. When she unlocked her door, she looked over her shoulder and saw me standing at the end of the hall. Her smile vanished. The man froze. "Didn't expect to see me here, did you?" I said. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. "I'm here for the conference," I continued, "but I guess I just crashed the wrong meeting." I turned and walked away. That night, I switched my flight and went home early. She texted, called, begged to explain. But the only thing I needed to know, I'd already seen. Here's what I learned. When someone says it's just business, sometimes business is the last thing on their mind. I crashed her work party and found the truth. We'd been together for almost 3 years. Her name was Vanessa. She worked in marketing, and every December, her company threw a huge holiday party. She told me it was employees only, which I understood until I saw other partners in the background of photos from previous years. That made me wonder. This year, she dressed up more than usual. Perfect hair, glittering dress, new heels. I offered to drop her off, but she said she'd just take a rideshare so I wouldn't have to wait. An hour later, my curiosity got the better of me. I decided to swing by the hotel ballroom where her company always hosted the event. I figured I'd surprise her, maybe meet her coworkers. When I arrived, I walked right in. No one stopped me. The room was buzzing with laughter, music, and champagne toasts. I scanned the crowd and then I saw her. She wasn't with her usual group of work friends. She was in a quiet corner, sitting close to a tall guy in a dark suit. His hand was resting on her thigh. She leaned in and whispered something in his ear, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months. I walked up, calm but with my heart pounding. She looked up and froze. "What are you?" "I just wanted to meet your coworkers," I said evenly. "But I guess this isn't one of them?" The guy shifted uncomfortably. I should go," he muttered, standing. I handed her something from my pocket, the bracelet I'd bought her for Christmas. "You can give this back to me when you're ready to tell the truth. Or keep it, if you'd rather stay in this corner." Then I turned and walked out, leaving her staring after me. She called that night, said it was nothing, that he was just a friend from another department. But I've learned that friends don't act like that in dark corners. Here's what I learned. If they don't want you at their table, it might be because someone else already has your seat. Her bachelorette night wasn't what she told me. We'd been engaged for 6 months. Her name was Rachel. The wedding was just 3 weeks away. She told me her bridesmaids had planned a low-key bachelorette party, just dinner, maybe a spa day, and some harmless fun. I didn't think much of it until one of my friends, who worked at a downtown bar, sent me a text that night, "Pretty sure I just saw your fiancée here, and she's not alone." At first, I thought he meant with her friends. But then he sent me a picture. Rachel was on the dance floor, pressed against a guy I'd never seen before. His hands were on her hips, and she was laughing like she didn't have a ring on her finger. I felt my chest tighten. I decided not to call or text. Instead, I went down there myself. When I walked in, the music was loud, the lights flashing. I spotted her instantly. She was still dancing with him, her arms now around his neck. I walked up, tapped her on the shoulder. She spun around, her face going pale when she saw me. "Wow," I said, my voice calm but shaking inside. "Didn't realize this was part of the wedding prep." Her friends froze around us. The guy stepped back, clearly realizing what was happening. I slipped the engagement ring from my pocket. I'd taken it off earlier that day for work and placed it in her hand. "You're free to keep dancing," I said, "but I won't be waiting at the altar." Then I turned and walked out, leaving the music and laughter behind. She called me over and over that night. I didn't answer. The next day, her maid of honor texted me saying it was just harmless fun and that I was overreacting. But to me, there's nothing harmless about betraying trust. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the wedding isn't cancelled because you don't love them, it's cancelled because they don't deserve you. I wasn't the only Valentine she had. We'd been together for almost 2 years. Her name was Emily. Valentine's Day was important to her. She'd always talked about how it was the most romantic day of the year. I wanted to make it special. I booked a table at the restaurant where we had our very first date. The night started perfectly. She arrived looking stunning, smiling like she'd been waiting all day for this. We ordered wine, reminisced about our first year together, and for a while, I forgot about the nagging feeling I'd had the past few weeks. Then, halfway through dinner, her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at it quickly, smiled to herself, and turned the screen down. I didn't say anything, but when she went to the restroom, curiosity got the better of me. I flipped her phone over. The message on the lock screen read, "Can't wait for dessert with you later, Red Heart." It wasn't from me. When she returned, I asked casually, "Got plans after this?" She froze, just for a second, before laughing it off. "Of course not." "Why?" I didn't push, not yet. After dinner, I suggested we grab a drink at a nearby bar. As we walked in, I made sure we passed a corner booth where a tall guy sat, scrolling on his phone. I'd recognized him from pictures I'd seen while snooping a week earlier. Her hand tightened around mine when she saw him. "Let's go somewhere else," she whispered. I stopped, looked her in the eyes, and said, "You can. I'll stay here and let him know he's not the only one buying you dessert tonight." She didn't say a word. Just turned and walked out. I sat down at his table and told him everything. He was shocked, apparently. She'd told him she was single. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the most romantic thing you can do for yourself is leave. Her New Year's kiss wasn't meant for me. We'd been together for almost 3 years. Her name was Hannah. New Year's Eve was always a big deal for her. She loved the parties, the champagne, the countdown. That year, she invited me to a massive rooftop event downtown. The night started perfectly. Music, city lights, and a crowd buzzing with excitement for midnight. Hannah was all smiles, introducing me to her friends, dancing, drinking, everything felt right. Until about 11:45. She said she needed to find the girls and disappeared into the crowd. I figured she was grabbing more drinks or taking pictures. But as the countdown began, 10, 9, 8. I started looking for her. I pushed through the crowd, scanning the room. And then I saw her. Not with her friends. Not even near the group we came with. She was on the far side of the rooftop, with a man I'd never seen before. His hands were on her waist, hers around his neck, their faces just inches apart. 3, 2, 1. And they kissed. I froze for a second, then walked straight toward them. She didn't see me until I was standing right next to her. "Happy New Year," I said flatly. She jumped back like she'd seen a ghost. "It's not what it looks like." I laughed. "Of course it's exactly what it looks like." I turned to the guy. "Congratulations, man. She's all yours now." Then I walked away, leaving her stunned in the middle of the crowd, surrounded by people cheering and kissing, all while her new year started with the end of us. Here's what I learned. Some people make resolutions to start fresh. Sometimes, that means without them.